Hey guys, how's it going? This is Billy Eat World, and today we're taking a look at the standard sniper rifle of the British Army, the L96A1. The L96 is one of my favourite bolt actions for a number of reasons, although statistically there's nothing really that special about it. When it was introduced with the second Assault DLC, the Gol Magnum made quite a few of the bolt action rifles statistically inferior, including the L96. That's not to say that now the L96 isn't still a decent sniper rifle, it's just that it's hard to compete with the Gol Magnum. The real reason that I like the L96 so much is because of how it looks and most importantly how it sounds. Obviously this has no effect on the performance of the weapon, but I personally like to play with weapons that look and sound cool, and the L96 is hands down one of the coolest sniper rifles in my opinion. But anyway, let's take a look at the stats of the weapon and see how it measures up against the other bolt actions. The L96 deals 100 damage out to 12.5 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 59 at 100 meters. This puts it into the medium damage bolt action category, along with weapons like the M40A5 and the SV98. It'll kill in one bullet to the head at all ranges or within 12.5 meters with a single shot to the chest, assuming of course that your target isn't running with the defensive perk. If the target is running the defensive perk or further than 12.5 meters away, it'll take another shot to kill your target, so just bear this in mind and always aim for the head whenever you can. The L96 fires at an average 48 RPM, which makes it faster to rechamber than the long-range bolt actions like the M98B and the SRR61, but it's still a fair bit slower than the Gol or the M40A5. This actually isn't as much of an issue as you might think, because although some rifles like the Gol fire a lot faster than the L96, it's actually very hard to accurately aim shots while the rifle is in the rechambering animation, making those extra few shots per minute irrelevant. There's really not a lot of situations where you'd want to fire at full RPM with a sniper rifle anyway, so as long as you're taking your time when aiming, 48 RPM should be more than enough. The L96 also has a fairly average muzzle velocity of 550 meters per second, which isn't terrible, but it's still a fair bit slower than some of the more powerful bolt actions. This will mean that you'll need to lead your target a fair bit more, which will really make a big difference when it comes to landing shots at long range. Probably the worst thing about the L96 though is that it has the slowest reload speed of any bolt action, taking 3.6 seconds to reload with a bullet still in the chamber and a painful 4.65 seconds to reload from empty. A slow reload isn't a huge issue for a sniper rifle, but once again this is just another example of something that the Gol does better than the L96. Apart from these stats though, the L96 has otherwise pretty standard bolt action stats across the board, with a capacity of 11 rounds, a standing ADS spread of 0, a moving ADS spread of 1.5 and a hipfire spread of 5. So taking all this into consideration, is the L96 actually worth using? Well, based on stats alone, probably not. The Gol Magnum has the advantage over the L96 in damage, muzzle velocity, rate of fire and reload speed, which all far outweigh the fact that the Gol has a smaller capacity. That being said though, the L96 is on par with or has an advantage over most of the other bolt actions, with the exception of maybe the SRR61 and the M98B. This should give you an idea of how badly balanced the bolt actions are in Battlefield 4 and how ridiculously overpowered the Gol Magnum is by comparison. If the Gol Magnum didn't exist though, I'd say that the L96 would be my pick of the mid-range bolt actions, and I know prior to Second Assault many players would have agreed with me. So what attachments would I recommend for the L96? Well, like I said before, the L96 is a mid-range sniper rifle, so running the 20x or 40x scope is probably not a good idea. You're better off running with the US 8x scope and the variable zoom to give you a little bit more magnification if you really need it. If you're one of those guys who likes to run with just one scope, then you could probably run with the rangefinder instead, although adjusting for bullet drop isn't too hard with this gun to begin with. Pretty much all the barrel and other attachments are pretty useless on sniper rifles, but if you're the kind of guy who likes to run with a suppressor, canted iron sights or a laser sight, then go for it. This isn't something that I do though, I generally rely on fast firing pistols rather than a bolt action in close quarters. But anyway, to finish up this review, if you haven't already tried out the L96, then I'd recommend that you give it a go. It's not the best sniper rifle, but it's not the worst either, and it has a charm that few of the other bolt actions have. It's just a shame that DICE didn't think a little harder about balancing the bolt actions, because if they did, I'd say this rifle would get a lot more attention than it does. As far as the mediocre sniper rifles go, I think this is one of the best, and while you won't be blown away by this weapon, I don't think you'll be disappointed either. But anyway, that just about wraps it up, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. But until next time guys, see you later and have a good one.